This is the Violent Professional Podcast brought to you by AriesClothing.com.
Fucking Violent Professional Podcast, episode 65. 60-fucking-5. Here we are. We're getting on the road. Or we've been on the road. We've been on the road for a while. And we're going to get into a fucking road marker 65. Course light. Watch it go down into my belly. I can't see shit. Little did you know I wear contacts. You know, people don't know that about me. I can't see shit. My eyes were a little bit dry. I had dry eye in my eye. So I had to take my contacts out. But here we are. I'm going to try to do this. You may see me get a little close to the paper. And you're like, is that dude fucking blind? And the answer is yes, I'm absolutely fucking blind. Unless I got these fucking Coke bottles inside of my fucking eyelids, you know. So just so I don't have to fumble my way through the podcast studio, I got 2 Coors Light on deck. You don't worry about that. Don't worry about me. I'm gonna be just fine. All right. The only thing I have to deal with is that I got to put the fucking thing close to my fucking face. I'm very nearsighted. Very fucking nearsighted. To the effect of I have to be 4 inches away from something to read it. Ain't that some shit? I think I'm legally blind. I don't fucking know. But contacts do the trick. I get to see stuff. I can drive. You know, I can legally take care of myself. I don't have to be put in some fucking home because I can't see shit. You know, so there's that. You know, here's the 2020. Cheers, my friends. I know you can't see it, but I got this fancy little fucking doohickey on the wall. It's a new Death Cheetah. Wow. Death Cheetah thing I made out of wood. Painted it with my hands. You know, I like to fumble through the wood shop. I like to fucking create. And that goes for some fucking interesting artifacts and fucking artistry. This is convenient because it's made out of trees. It's wood. Get it, motherfuckers? All right, so let me get into this week. This past week. 2 weeks has been trying. Actually, let me throw it old school. The past fucking month has been fucking trying. Trying on my fucking patience, trying on my fucking nerves. You know, all of the nerves, all of them. I had to get out of fucking Downs. I had to get out of Downs. I had to get out of town. I had to go to fucking jump out at Lake Chelan. That was cool. I'm sure you heard about it if you frequent this podcast. And that was good, but it wasn't enough. You know, I came back to the world of Washington, and which I was in Washington when I was at Lake Chelan, but it didn't feel like it. You know, no fucking bad vibes over there, dudes and dudettes. There was nothing but good times and great oldies. I was jumping through the fucking air like a fucking superhero. Come on. You know what I do. You know how I do. I fly like a fucking bird. Pretend I'm a superhero and shit. It's fucking fantastic. But I was over in Lake Chelan, you know, and I was fucking partying. I was fucking partying in the sky, partying on the ground, partying all over the fucking place. I had a great time. And I came back to the real world, got back into the fucking beat laboratory, started fucking planning and plotting my fucking schemes and shit. And, but then real world hits you. You know, you got that fucking attachment of your cell phone. It fucking fucks your day up. And I don't even understand it. I don't even think you understand how much a cell phone attached to the interwebs will fuck your day up. People putting their fucking shit in your face, you know, posting pictures of their fucking lasagna or some fucking dumb shit. You know, you're guilty of it. You had a nice chicken tiramisu or some shit, if that's a thing. And you want to show the world, and you're like, hey, look at this fucking thing. And then you got like 50 comments, people talking about their ramen noodles and how they're much better. They're so much better. And then you start to feel like shit because you're like, man, I just wanted to share my fucking merriment in this fucking fine cuisine. And people just leaving this negative, nasty shit all over my fucking profiles. It's so unfortunate, but that's how fucking social media is. It brings you down. And then I'll see that shit. I'll see your fucking stupid tuna casserole, chicken tiramisu, or whatever fuck you stupid ass you want to make. Dumbass fucking chicken tikka masala motherfucker. And then like I see all the comments and not your shitty fucking bullshit ass chicken sandwich you made. I fucking see the comments and that brings me down. Cause then it reminds me of all the negative comments I get on my shit. And that brings me down even further and down into the hole. You know, I didn't want to know about half of you, but fuck it, here we go. I know about half of you. It's unfortunate. Social media is like a fucking vampire. It's a psychic vampire just sucking the fucking life out of you. And you don't know what's happening, you know? It's like social media is gaslighting you. It makes you feel crazy. And it's like, no, you're not crazy. And then does a whole bunch of shit to make you feel fucking crazy and your reality's upside down and shit. That's what social media is. You know, it's controlled by the AI monster that doesn't fucking understand human emotions or something. It's never felt the love of a woman before. And it just fucks everything up because it's like, I think this is what humans like. Puts its little fucking digital dick beaters into fucking everything. So I had to get out of town, yet again. I went a week and then I went back to work, working on all my stuff. And then I had to get out of town. And so I went with my compadre Mark. We went out to the hills with a few people, brought out some fucking dudes. Ended up being about 7 of us out there in the fucking hills. This place called Lake of the Angels. That was a fucking good time. So good, in fact, my legs weren't having it. They're just like, man, you party too fucking hard. Party too fucking hard. And they gave out halfway up the fucking hill. You know, I'd say about, with a mile to go. They were like, not having it, sir. So this place, Lake of the Angels, is fucking beautiful scenery. It's this lake on top of a fucking mountain. Go figure. You know, glacial waters flowing. You just fucking bathe in that shit. It fucking rejuvenates you, your heart, mind, and soul. You know, it makes you forget about that dumbass tikka masala you were fucking looking at on social media, that dumb fucking chicken sandwich bullshit. And you know, it makes you feel fantastic. So anyway, it's a 3.7 mile hike up this fucking hill. There's you get about 2 miles in and then it's like, hey, let's crank it up a notch. Let's fucking go. It's like you ain't been suffering hard enough, motherfucker. And then it's a fucking sheer face rock with a fucking rope. You gotta scale up this fucking thing. You gotta traverse stuff with your fucking 50-pound pack. It's fucking crazy. And that's when you're about, you know, you're almost there. You're almost fucking there. But that took a lot out of you, and you get to that part, and then that's when my legs wanted to lock out. So for the last quarter of it, I was stiff-legged trying to walk up this hill, you know? And it was a fucking nightmare. I fucking made it, though. And now that I think of it, this is the second time I've been up there, the same fucking thing happened. I took my electrolytes. I took care of myself, hydrated like I'm supposed to. Yep, and it was at the same point. I still got leg lock. I got that stanky leg going. You know, that song by fucking Soulja Boy, tell 'em, do the stanky leg. You do the stanky leg. Oh, do the stanky leg. So I would do the stanky leg all the way up to the fucking top. It was fucking miserable. It was absolutely fucking miserable. And I was like, just fucking someone throw me off of this fucking hill. It was like on the inside of my legs and outside. And then it was just like, yep, your legs aren't bending now. And if you do, they're going to go to your ass. And then you're going to be excruciating pain. And then you'll die. That's what would happen. But I didn't die that day. I didn't die. I made it through that. I went up there for 2 days. It was fucking wonderful. We literally just sat. At one point, someone turned on music. Mark was like, fuck no, turn that shit off, bitch. Nature. Listen to fucking nature. You know, I've got that fucking fucked up ear. It's like ringing all the time. I'm like, let me listen to the song of my people. And it's like, like all fucking weekend. I just wanted some music, Mark. Fucking shit. But anyway, we didn't listen to music or anything. We just listened to fucking crickets do some dumb shit in the fucking tall grass. I had a great time. I had a fucking fantastic time. And partially, and I'd say a good majority of why it was such a good time to get out with the bros was because it's the bros. But also, no social media. There was no signal. Not even like kind of one bar that pops in and out and you get some fucking notification. Nothing. Fucking nothing. No one contacting me. Which is great. Because if you've heard me talk about it, I get a million fucking DMs all the time, and this was fantastic. Sat on that fucking mountain on this fucking chair, ate a ridiculous amount of food because I brought too much, and I'm like, oh, gotta get rid of it. I don't want to fucking pack it out. So I did it. I ate it all. We had like an eating competition because we all brought too much food, thinking like we were on the fucking... You know, we were out there on a fucking deserted island like we got to survive for fucking 2 weeks. And so we ate 2 weeks worth of food. Lots of sodium in our future. Or our past, whatever. Lots of sodium, you know. Almost pushing that LD50 to where we fucking don't make it. Like, I'm going to test it. Half of us are going to die. So... You know, it was a great time. A good time getting out with Mark. It was fucking fantastic. I had a fucking good time. And I would say 50% because no one could fucking reach me. You know, no one could fucking reach me. Not you, or you. Fuck you. You're cool. Fuck all of you. I'm out. But, yeah, you know, it made me realize social media can fuck up your day. It can completely change when you shut that shit off. When you don't even have an option of getting on it, it fucking improves your day. Drastically. Drastically it improves. Before I went on this trip, I watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix. That's interesting. You should definitely watch it. I don't want to fucking spoil it, but the fucking social media is going to cause a civil war. And we're all going to die because you want to post chicken sandwich photos. And the fucking AI that controls all of it loves that. It loves the negativity. It's weird how that works. AI totally goes towards negativity 100% of the time. You can look it up. But I want you to watch Social Dilemma. I'm not going to ruin it for you. It's interesting and it fucking blow your mind. It makes you want to shut your fucking phone off. And I'll tell you what I did after I fucking watched it. So I watched that show. I went on that trip. Came back. And as soon as I get into fucking service, like, bloop, 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 my phone just goes fucking haywire. And I fucking DM Mark. I like to send voice messages to him, and he sends them back. It's very nice. It's easier than texting, especially when you're driving. You just hit the button, fucking voice message. I'm like, hey, dude, is your phone blowing up? And he's like, yep. And he tells me all the fucking messages he has, and then I tell him all the messages I have, and then I just, like, check a few of them, listen to fucking people talking, and then look at some of them. I'm like, God damn it. Damn it. Oh, my day is immediately ruined. I had no stress on that trip. I didn't realize how peaceful fucking sitting there, picking wild blueberries, popping them in my mouth, making a blueberry smoothie, boiling that shit, making some jam on a fucking heel jam, dog. But then I get back to reality, and it's fucking a nightmare. Because everybody wants fucking in. They want to just fucking go, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm like, I don't fucking want to tell you. So they all want to fucking, why aren't you on? Why aren't you on? What are you doing? Shut the fuck up. Leave me be. Let me die on this mountain. My fucked up legs. So what I did, and I'm not going to ruin the Social Dilemma, but one thing that all of the people that are part of that documentary tell you, and mind you, these are people that created all of the social media. It's not just some rinky-dink person that was pissed off at social media or whatever. They are the people that created all of social media currently today, the major ones. And they moved on, or they got fucking fired for saying how it was unethical or whatever. But one of the things they all say is turn off your notifications. Turn off your notifications. If there's no way that you're getting notified, you're not going to fucking pick up your phone. So think about it. Your phone, my phone, goes blip, 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 blip. And what do? You pick it up, you immediately go to it just to fucking check that there's an update for some fucking stupid little game that you had, and you're like, oh, let me update that. Then you go on fucking Facebook, Instagram, and you're just like sitting there and scrolling. Facebook is the worst by far. You will, if I go on Facebook at all, I will sit there and just fucking swipe up. I'll just do that. And then I catch myself. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And I'll get caught in some fucking dumb like clickbait shit and look and be like, yeah, tacos are bad. Like, it's like totally changed my opinion about tacos. Like, you know? Or it's one of those dumb things where it's like, you want to see the fucking, oh my God, look at what Justin Bieber did. Blah. And I'm like, I'll fucking check that shit out. And I don't care. But you get caught. It's fucking addictive. They say on that, it's like there's only 2 industries in which the term user is associated. One is the drug industry and one is social media. So if you can think about that, it is like a drug. It's addictive. You can't fucking stop once you pop. So I decided to take their advice. I turned off all my fucking notifications, even text. I got to turn that back on because I'm like, man, usually I get a bunch of texts today. Nobody's texting me. And I go on, there's like 50 fucking texts. So, yeah. You can basically go in the settings, turn off all fucking notifications, and then at your leisure, you can go on there and then answer all of your shit in one fell swoop. It's been, in the past few days, been back for 3 days, it has been, I wouldn't say life-changing, it's been a fucking sort of a game changer maybe, but I don't check it that much, which is good. It's a start. It doesn't occupy most of my time, and I appreciate a lot of the DMs, but a lot of the shit people send me is just bullshit, and then I'm just sitting there all day. I'm like, I wonder why I'm not productive. Social media. There's reasons I'm not as productive as I could be, and it's because I'm sitting on my fucking phone talking to a lot of you and fucking responding, and I know that's one of the things that a lot of people depend on me for, but I have to change that because a lot of times I see productivity is suffering, and I couldn't really figure it out until recently, and social media is one of those things. And I think a lot of you waste a lot of time on social media, me included. I'm not pointing any fingers, but this guy spends a lot of time on social media just fucking talking to people because I'm trying to fucking run my show. So you could try that. Go in your fucking settings and turn your fucking notifications off. See how it changes your life, sir and ma'am. See how it changes life. See what I'm saying? If you're on fucking video, you can see I've got this 10 inches away from my fucking face. October's right around the corner. And I'll get into that because October, honestly, is my favorite fucking month of the year. People are going to be like, it's because of Halloween. No, it's not. I don't really dress up ever. Although this glorious mane you see before you may be turning in to the fucking Hulkamania. I'm going to be the Hulkster, baby, for Halloween. First time I'll dress up in a long fucking time. I want to do it just because my son doesn't want me to change. Doesn't want me to fucking cut my hair. Doesn't want me to put the goatee on. Doesn't want me to fucking shave a horseshoe bald spot into the top of my head for the fucking costume. I'm a fucking method actor when it comes to Halloween. But anyway, October's right around the corner. But guess what else is? This fucking presidential election. It's going to be fucking magic. It's going to be fucking mayhem. And I wanted to share some predictions with you. There's a lot of weird shit going on in Washington. There's a lot of stuff going on in Oregon. There's a lot of stuff going in California. If you heard me talk before, I will tell you I'm more libertarian aligned. It's sort of in the middle, centrist, comparative to Republican or Democrat. But out of all the fucking political parties, I would say that fucking the Democratic Party would totally be the party. Now hold on a second before you go like conspiracy theory or whatever. If one of these parties was under questioning for setting a bunch of fires, what party do you think it would be? That's all I'll say. If that's a fucking thing, then I would venture to guess that fucking the Democratic Party is probably guilty of setting a bunch of fires if it's a possibility because of global warming and they want to prove that that shit fucking happens. You know? Instead of a natural occurrence that has happened through fucking every section of history. You know? As soon as all these fires fucking happen, and it's weird, you look at the map, fucking the top of fucking Washington all the way down to fucking California. It's weird. It just stopped at fucking Canada. That's weird. Stopped at Mexico. It's weird. So fucking weird. But it's every fucking state on the Pacific coast in the fucking line. So fucking weird. You know, if I was a thinking man, and I look at a party that could be the craziest batshit fucking crazy party in the history of mankind, of recent history, I would say the Democratic Party most likely set fucking fires across the fucking United States to prove a point. But I don't know. It's just a thought. You know, it's 4th and goal in this fucking election, trying to pander to people, be like, yep, Greta Thunberg, you need to call her in, tell her, let her talk about, you know, all of her years of knowledge, and her fucking, how old is she, 16? And her 16 years of knowledge about how fucking global warming is the cause. It's not that, you know, anybody's setting fires. I mean, let's just be honest. They're already catching a fucking bunch of people. I saw a video the other day of a fucking palm tree on fire at the top. Like, how the fuck does that happen? What the fuck? Anyway, there's a lot of people setting fires all across the fucking west coast. Just saying. I don't know. I don't know what to think. You know, that smoke was creeping up on that trip on, you know, when I went up to the mountain. You could see it over there. I mean, there's wildfires that happen. All of the fucking time. But it's just interesting that all at the same time, from Canada to Mexico in a fucking direct line, if you look at the fire map, they're all fucking straight up and down. Just weird. You think it would be some other way, but it's not. It's, you know, I'm just stating the obvious. It's from fucking north to south, stops at Canada, stops at Mexico, just fires. It's weird. That's all I'll say. But just like the elections are around the corner, I got some predictions for you, friends. It's been crazy. We all can fucking say that. You know, hindsight's 20/20, and it is 20/20. I'll say it's fucking crazy out there. You gotta be safe. You gotta keep your head on a swivel in a vicious cockfight. And I don't know who's gonna win. I got a feeling about who's gonna win. But I will say my predictions for either side. So what I will say is, if Trump wins, it's going to fucking stay crazy for about 2 years. 2 years, right? And I'll explain this. Coronavirus will exist for 20 years. Or 20 years, holy fuck, dude. It will still be around for 2 years until people on the left realize that Donald Trump only has 2 years left in office. Then they will celebrate. Then all the restrictions will fucking just cease to exist at about 2 years. Then the focus will be 2024. That's one prediction. Aside from that, it will be straight mayhem for 2 straight fucking years. I think it will immediately get worse. I think all of the crazy shit that's been happening will be amplified with civil unrest in some sort of fashion. Just my fucking prediction. Will it be society collapsing? Probably not. It probably will not be, but I feel like it will just get a little bit more annoying than it already is, you know? But let's go the other way. If Biden's elected, I think by next year, early next year, specifically 3 months after he's elected, if he is, all of the restrictions will be lifted. We'll be back to normal. The riots and everything will cease until 2024 when a Republican candidate takes back the presidency. I'm just saying. And then it will go back to fucking norm. But regardless of that, I think we should, by 2024, we should start looking at other fucking options. Like, let's be honest. This two-party system is totally flawed, and I fucking can't stand it. I can't fucking stand it. I really fucking hate paying taxes, and I don't think that the money I earned is theirs. So that's that. Anyway, moving on, because I don't want to talk about politics that much on here. I never wanted to, so. Okay, so October's around the corner. October is around the corner. And what's more awesome than October and Halloween and all that shit is it's a fucking bad movie review month. We did it last year with season 1 of Bad Movie Review. Let me tell you what Bad Movie Review is. You might be asking, you're like, what the fuck is this? Because you just started listening to the podcast. Bad Movie Review is basically, we go to the Walmart bin. This is what we did the first year. We went to the Walmart bin and I just fucking selected like 3 DVDs out of that fucking thing for $5 a piece. Myself and my buddy Mark watched it. Watched all 3. It was Mandy. It was Leprechaun. I can't remember which ones. Leprechaun 2 or some shit. It was a sorority one. And then we watched Yellow Brick Road. These were all fucking fantastic flicks that we hated with every passion of our being. No, Mandy. We watched Mandy, and that was dope as fuck. I still love that movie. I think it's a fucking awesome one. It's a cult classic. It's based on a cult. Not a real cult. It's just, cults, they're all kind of the same. So, we decided, it's Bad Movie Review. So we did 3 of those. This year we're doing 4. And because it's Halloween, because it's October, because it's the witching season, I figure we do some scary movies or some fucking borderline scary movies. Now, let me tell you what they are, okay? I didn't just pick these out of a hat. These have been voted on and fucking picked out by you guys, the listeners, okay? Let me put this up to my face again. So, the movies we're going to be reviewing this year, Sharknado, one of the newer ones, whatever one we can find, because apparently there's 6 of them, and I figured, why don't we start at number 6? But if we can get it, we will. We're just going to pick any Sharknado. I've never seen it before. And I'll read this. Sharknado is a series of American disaster horror comedy science fiction films released by Sci-Fi starting in 2013. The 6th film concluded the series in 2018. It has since been expanded into video games and comics. There's a fucking Sharknado video game. Including a spin-off film, Sharknado, Heart of the Sharkness. It was released in 2015, so that's what, we're going to do the Sharknado. That's going to be fucking dope. Mark doesn't even know this yet. I know this. I just looked up the fucking stats of this shit. The next movie we're going to be watching is Tusk. This has been talked about on the podcast by one of the fucking the 7 from the OLP. Go back and listen to the fucking Order of the Light Protector series. There's a fucking playlist on SoundCloud of all 3 episodes, but it starts at episode 13. Go check that out. Or OLP Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, but we talk about Tusk on there. And so the plot of the Tusk is a U.S. podcaster, Justin Long, ventures into the Canadian wilderness to interview an old man, Michael Parks, who has an extraordinary past, and the American learns The man has a dark secret involving a walrus. Let me tell you, I already know what this is about. It's like Human Centipede, but it's with a walrus. Justin Long turns into a walrus. Spoiler alert. The scientist turns him into a walrus. And I already know how it ends, but I gotta see it. I was glad that people fucking suggested it. It's probably some of the listeners that heard us talk about it. It's dope as fuck. Thank you. I'm excited for that one. And you know we had to do it, kids. You know we had to fucking do it. We gotta have Leprechaun in the Hood. Leprechaun in the Hood. One of the highest voting. I think because you guys listened to the fucking last Leprechaun. And, and we had to do it. So, Leprechaun in the Hood. Here's the plot of it. I'm sure you're interested. When aspiring hip-hop performer Butch, played by Red Grant, Postmaster P, played by A.T. Montgomery, and Stray Bullet, Rashawn Nawcross, record producer Mac Daddy, played by Ice-T. What? Their grudge against him leads to their own peril. After they break into Mac Daddy's home and swipe an ancient medallion from a grotesque statue, the evil leprechaun, Warwick Davis, there's a bunch of movies, fucking midget, is freed from his magical prison. Soon the sinister little man is on the trail of Butch, Postmaster P, Stray Bullet, along with Mac Daddy himself. I've seen this movie before, believe it or not, when I was a youngster. It's pretty fucking hilarious. One part I remember, one of the dudes has an afro. He pulls a bat out of the afro. It's fucking awesome. So we're doing that. That may be the last movie we watch, just because I know you guys are anticipating our review on that. But we're gonna do 4 movies total, and the 4th movie is this. Voted unanimously, the highest rated fucking voting is the movie Rubber. Now this movie Rubber. What do you think it is? Put down in the comments of this video, if you're watching it, put in the comments of if you're listening what you think Rubber's about. But let me explain it to you. I watched the trailer of this shit and it looks fucking amazing. It's one of the fucking most ridiculous ideas ever, and I can't believe that somebody came up with it. But it's so amazing. Okay, you ready for it? Here's the plot of Rubber. A car tire comes to life with the power to make people explode and goes on a murderous rampage through the California desert. Oh, I fucking love it. Thank you. Thank you guys for fucking nominating those movies. There was a whole bunch. There was like fucking 20 different submissions of movies we should fucking review. But those 4 were the highest rated because I put a fucking poll on social media and I said like, hey, what movies should we watch? Like, submit your fucking movies. So I guess I put a question thing in there. You can fill it in. And people submitted a bunch of movies. We had a bunch of submissions. And then I put them up. And then I added another thing. And I said, if you don't like those movies, add some more. So we had about 20 plus submissions. And then I put them all on the fucking social media thing in a poll. And people could vote on them. And those are the top 4 fucking movies. You know, Sharknado is like got 6. So it's like just any Sharknado. We're going to do one of them. I haven't seen any of them. The only one I've seen is Leprechaun in the Hood, but I don't fucking remember anything about it, so this is going to be fucking new to me. But I'm excited. I'm excited to watch Tusk and Rubber. out of fucking all of them. I'm not excited about Sharknado. I think I already know what it's about. And then, Leprechaun in the Hood, it's going to be a fan favorite. Great. Thank you guys. That was awesome. It's going to be a fucking good month. We're going to play. Those are going to be episodes through October. So get ready. People love the fucking bad movie reviews last year. And it's going to be good. Myself and Mark will be doing them. 4 weeks of awesome fucking bad movies. And we're going to keep this up as a trend as long as this podcast goes on. So to finish this episode up, I put a thing up on Instagram and I said, AMA, fucking ask me anything, And I got out of all the people that submitted things, these are the ones that I'd like to highlight here. 2 of these people are patrons, and so I felt it natural to put them on there. So from, and I'm sorry, I'll put this to the side so you can see if you're watching the video. First question. from Fire Breathing Bastard. What exotic animal would you own? There's a lot of animals that I could own. It's not a lot of animals I would like to own. But I think, a monkey would be cool. They're very strong. Very strong. My mother, when she was a youngster, she owned a monkey and it almost ripped her fucking face off. Threw shit and swung from the chandelier. I'm not even joking one bit. I've heard plenty of stories about how they had to put that fucking monkey down, to be honest. Because it was very aggressive towards people. It would jerk off, throw fucking shit at people. They had to keep it in the cage half the day. And it's like a vicious cycle. It's like you let it out for a little bit and it's so excited it starts fucking just breaking shit in the house. So, monkey would be cool, I think. Maybe one of those little fucking, little teacup monkeys, some shit. You like sit on your head or something. Not one of the big fucking orangutans. You're just asking for trouble there. And I would say exotic, I don't want a fucking big cat. A cheetah would be cool. There's no documented murders of man with cheetahs, and it's fitting. Cheetahs are they're not good house pets, I would assume, but they don't attack man. They're very nice to people. They'll just eat your car if you're on like a fucking safari or some shit. But I think, to be honest, there's only 2 times that they killed people. But I don't know the exact facts, but I do know that they're not aggressive toward man, so that's cool. But if we could talk exotic pets, and that's and that goes for different locations. Like here, you can't own an opossum here. That's an exotic animal. Nor would why would you want to? But I guess it's exotic. I would like to have a raccoon. I've done the squirrel before. When I was in New York, that was not a good time. That thing was fucking batshit crazy. It would sit on your shoulder and shit, and then if you ever went near its fucking fish tank that we kept it in, it fucking attacked the shit out of you. It just didn't like it being in its house. It's like, I keep this shits clean. Don't take your fucking shoes off! And then it'd just attack you. It's fucking crazy. We had to get rid of that fucking thing, because it was like, you never knew when it was going to fucking go bonkers. But I guess I would have a raccoon. I think raccoons are fucking awesome. We got one right outside of my house. They're cute, cuddly. Any video I've seen, they're very nice to people. I researched something one time about raccoons because I am interested in them. They're not afraid of man. Like, they're not terrified. Like, there's some animals that have a fear of man. Deer being one of them. Unless they're hand-fed in a fucking zoo when they get out, and then they're like, oh yeah, you got food, motherfucker? But raccoons don't have a fear of man. They're cautious. There's animals that are cautious, or there's animals that are unafraid, cautious, and terrified. So raccoons are cautious. They're cautious. That's why a lot of people have pets in the South, because they're legal down here. But here in Washington, it's not legal because Democratic leadership likes to make everything unfun, they motherfuckers. I'd like to have a raccoon. I feel like I could train him to go get me a fucking hoagie or some shit. Walk on his hind foots with the hoagie. And we'd enjoy it together. And he'd sit on my fucking lap. I'd tell him stories and shit. Yeah, so that's that. I would own a raccoon. I guess it's exotic here, but maybe not where you're from, fire-breathing bastard. Double tap 815. Read the question. What was your driving motivation behind starting a podcast? I will tell you, I actually know this answer, unlike a lot of things. The reason I started a podcast is because at my old space, the space before this, we had this bar set up, and we would sit there and tell stories and shit, just like you do with your boys. You're at the bar and you tell stories and fucking whatever, just having a good time. Or you're in the team room and you fucking hanging out, you're telling stories. I always thought, like, sitting there and listening to people's stories about just random ass shit, nothing in particular, but just sitting there listening to people talk and the way they act and the way they react to people's stories and, like, how much fun that shit was, being with the boys, fucking hanging out, telling these stories, and just laughing our asses off about the dumbest shit ever. To me, that was like one of the most enjoyable times ever. Was just being a part of conversations and fucking talking to people. Much like many of you, I assume. It's like one of the highlights of your day is just hanging out with your friends or wherever on the weekend, going to the bar, grabbing a drink, and you're just telling fucking stories about whatever, or just conversing. And so we started, and because I knew that this is funny to watch how people's mannerisms and how they fucking look, because I've said it before in the podcast, but like I'm very observant of about people's psychology and how their mannerisms and shit like that. So I decided one time, I was like, hey, why don't we film this and make a YouTube videos called, can't remember what it was called. Bar Stories or something like that. So we recorded one episode and we had like a crew come in and they filmed it and it just didn't turn out right. And there was something off about it. And the guy that was telling the story, it was a good story. We all laughed at it, but like the way the camera angles were and like they were showing our faces too long and we were just sitting there, and the way they edited it was like just focusing on the times we were just sitting there listening and like licking our lips and drinking and stuff like that, and then not focusing on the person telling the story. It was just very awkward. And so I took that idea, and I didn't start the podcast because other people were doing podcasts. It's not really how it started. It was because that Barroom Stories thing that we did, I took that and I'd be like, well, maybe I could still do it, but an audio version and because the podcast thing had already existed, I was like, and I have this network of people with really cool stories. I was like, let's fucking record it and put it out. And I got to episode 10 and I didn't think I was going to do any more just because it was like, I didn't really have the equipment, the time, energy to do it. And it was like basically doing these interview style things. It just turned into something I didn't like. And then when it all changed to like what made me more motivated and what drove it to what it is today is when myself and Mark sat in his RV with the shittiest audio ever because I didn't have it running through the mics. The soundboard wasn't hooked up. And I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and we just fucking bullshit. And that's where all of the times we talk about cougars and fucking trannies and like all the shit you see was influenced by an episode called Animal Train, which, if you go back, has the absolute shittiest fucking audio of any episode we did. But people fucking love it. Like, that's the funniest part. Because, like, the audio is so bad, it's like going into the microphone. I was looking at the computer as I was recording, and I was like, yep, audio's coming in, and we're talking to mics, and it looks like everything's good, but it's like we're in an RV, and so I had the computer on the ground, the soundboard up there so I could fuck with things, and I'm listening through the soundboard, and everything's going through the soundboard, but it's not going to the computer, so like, the audio was just shit because it's bouncing off the fucking RV wall, off of his cabinets, into the fucking microphone on the computer, so... But as I edited it, I was like, God damn, this is fucking terrible. But it is the defining episode. I believe it's episode 11, Animal Train. You can look it up on our catalog. And that was the catalyst for change for the entire fucking podcast. It went from talking interview style stuff to which is like a standard fucking podcast thing to now we just do what the fuck ever. Whatever the fuck we want to talk about. And so, yeah, that I hope that answers your question. That's why I started the podcast, in a nutshell. So, okay, from Sterling of the Prairies, what is worse, fires, riots, or your state taxing your balls? Well, I think they're all pretty fucking terrible. I think Washington, encompasses all of that. Fires, they affect me in the fact that smoke is hitting here, but we're in a pretty wet area on the west coast, like on the very west coast of Washington. So we don't really get too many fires over here. It's still a threat. Like there's, burn bans and shit like that. And we haven't had any fires get close. I think the closest was like 100 miles straight line distance. So, I will say it definitely sucks that people are losing their fucking houses and stuff like that. You know, for sure. Like, that sucks. The riots, I think riots happen, but I think it's the leadership of the state that allow it to happen. Much like every place that has riots, it's the leadership that allow it to happen. That sucks. But I think the number one thing that concerns me mostly about the state is that it's the fucking taxes just fucking, and you could look at everything. Taxation is theft. It's fucking theft. And so, like right now, we have this online school shit, like many people. And, you know, I'm still getting taxed the same, but there's less requirements. So why the fuck are we being taxed the same? Just taxation in general, I'm not down with. Some taxation I'm for, you know, stuff that helps, you know, the general population, like roads and shit like that. But I just don't like you know, like people look at it, there's no like fucking, there's certain taxes that aren't here, but there's a lot of fucking other taxes, like property tax, one thing that I've never had to experience before in other places. So taxation affects me the most. I fucking hate it. You know, I've talked about it enough, so I'm gonna move on because that's an easy one. I fucking hate taxation. It's one that affects me the most out here, so that's what I hate. But I hate all of it. I hate all that shit. So hopefully that answers your question. From Hermetic Pathfinder, have I Googled, or I'll just say in his terms, have you Googled the Thurston County ritual abuse case? I did after you sent that in, and I will say this. It shit sounds fucking crazy, and that's a whole episode. That's not something I could fucking sit here and talk about for a fucking while. I will say that that's a whole episode. It's fucking crazy, especially since it's right fucking here where it happened. So if anybody's listening to this, I'm sure you are, Google that shit. Get your own opinion. Formulate that shit. And then we'll do an episode on it because it's fucking, you know, I feel like it's an episode. So from Fuck Louie, I think he spelled his name fuck with a V for the FVK Louie. Favorite non-pornographic magazine to masturbate to? Oh, that's a classic question. And I will say, you will be surprised, or maybe you won't. You shouldn't be surprised. But if you're a 1980s baby like me, you will most definitely say the JCPenney's catalog or the Sears catalog, my friends. Lingerie section, baby. Steal that shit. Bring that back to your room and just fucking crank on your wiener. Yeah. I don't do that much anymore. But, you know, unless they're showing their butthole in those catalogs. And I think they don't exist anymore. I'm not sure with COVID. But, shit. That would be it. The JCPenney catalog. I would jerk off to the fucking lingerie section when I was a little fucking man. A pubescent man. So, anyway, those were 5 questions from fucking AMA. If you want me to do it again, put a comment in the video below. The fucking thing you're listening on below. Let me know what you think. Send me a DM on fucking social media. And while you're on social media, please check out TaskDev. It's TaskDev. Got sweet merch. Got a new medical team on there, building it up. We do veteran uplift events. This year we did 2 tandem skydives. Did some climb team events for the veteran community. We would go out camp, which is one of them I just was talking about early in this episode. We went out there, had a great time. You can go support them at taskdev.org, taskdev.org. 100% of the proceeds for merch, donations, what have you, go back into supporting the veteran community. You know, for me, it was transitioning out of service was a challenge. TaskDev made it easier, keeping that camaraderie alive and getting me back in touch with my friends and doing cool shit like jumping out of airplanes. So with that, thank you for listening to this episode. I appreciate you sticking around to the end if you are. And thank you, my friends. Bye-bye.